This was a crazy weekend of baseball. The Marlins looked to end their atrocious losing streak. The Kansas City Royals and the Pittsburgh Pirates looked more legit by the game. The Oakland Athletics were actually good this weekend. So many late inning comebacks were made this weekend. The Rangers wanted to make a statement against Houston that the AL West runs through Arlington, and pitchers are getting Tommy John at an alarming rate. Lot to cover today, but let's start off in New York, where the Yankees had their home opening series against the Blue Jays. Marcus Stroman and Yusei Kikuchi were both dealing in game one. Neither starter gave up a run. The Yankees bullpen would ultimately relent to Ernie Clement in the seventh as he went deep off Caleb Ferguson, and that's all the Jays would need as they went on to shut out the Yankees in their home opener. The Yankees didn't take too kindly to that as they put up 3 runs in both the first and second innings in game 2 to go up by 6. Both Judge and Stanton hitting home runs off Gausman early in this game. Gausman would only go 1 1/3 innings, giving up 5 earned runs with no strikeouts. The Jays would threaten late in the game. Vlad would hit a bomb in the 7th, and the Jays would rally to put up 3 in the 9th to make it a 1-run game, but it was too little too late as the Yankees' damage had been done. Or so the Jays thought. The Jays would get off to an early lead in game 3, but MLB's active home run leader crushes a grand slam to get the lead. Luis Gil looked great, punching out 8 over 4 1/3 innings, walking 4. Anthony Volpe continues to impress as he goes 3 for 4 with a couple steals, and the Yankees continue their winning ways, taking game 3 and the series against the Blue Jays. Just as Tarek Skubal continued his winning ways in Detroit against the soon-to-be Sacramento Athletics, the Tigers would put up 3 runs in the 4th, which included Matt Vierling's first home run of the year. Skubal was cruising until giving up a 2-run shot to Brent Rooker to make it a 1-run game. Former Oakland A Mark Hanna goes deep in the bottom half of the 6th, and the scoring would go back and forth, ending with the Tigers going up 5-4 in the 8th, and they would take game 1. The Oakland A's would get their revenge though. Paul Blackburn stuns the Tigers in game 2 by going 6 innings without giving up anything besides 3 hits. Brent Rooker decided it was a good idea to go ahead and keep on keeping on. Javi Baez is determined to keep on keeping on as well, just in a different way, and the A's take game 2. Then it was Zach Gelof's turn in game 3 to keep on keeping on. He goes yard for the first time of the year. He goes 4 for 5 with 4 driven in, and the A's take the series against the Tigers. The only run the Tigers would get was from Riley Reen's first bomb of the year, which is a great sign. Speaking of great signs, Bobby Miller was on the mound, which is always a great sign for LA as he was filthy in his first outing. Teoscar Hernandez gave him an early lead with a 2-run single in the first. However, Miller would go on to give a solo shot to Dansby Swanson in the second inning and would falter after that. He went on to give up 5 earned runs and would not escape that inning. LA would fight back, putting up 3 in the 5th, including Ohtani's second bomb of the year. The Cubs would put up 3 more in the 6th to make it 9-5 and put it out of reach from LA, taking game 1. Game 2 ended up being a pitching masterclass by Yamamoto in his 3rd start of the year. He went 5 innings, striking out 8. We should probably get used to performances like that from Yamamoto. LA takes game 2 4-1. In the rubber match of the series, the Cubs' new ace Shota Imanaga would absolutely shove in his 2nd start of his career. He would only go 4 innings due to a lengthy weather delay, but he only gave up 2 hits and no walks, striking out 3. Cubs got off to an early lead and didn't let up. They scored a total of 8, including Cody Bellinger's 2nd home run in a Cub uniform, and the Cubs would take game 3 8-1 as well as the series. I said before that there were a bunch of late inning comebacks throughout the league, and if you wanted to see one, all you had to do was go watch game 1 of the Rockies-Rays series in Colorado. The Rays were up by 2 going into the bottom of the 6th, where the Rockies would have put up 3 on this Ezekiel Tovar homer. They would put up 2 more in the 8th on Chris Bryant's 2-run shot, his first of the year. The Rays then came back to put a 5 in the 9th to go up 7-6, with a throwing error from Ryan McMahon giving the Rays the go-ahead run. But in the 9th, the guy who gives them the lead takes it back with a walk-off grand slam. The Rockies would continue to mash early in game 2. Ryan McMahon, Michael Toglia, and Brenton Doyle all hitting their 2nd home runs of the year. Game 2 would consist of another run given up by the Rockies in the late innings, giving up 7 total in the 7th and 8th innings combined to the Rays. But unlike game 1, they would have no answer, and the Rays would take game 2 8-6. And in game 3, the newly acquired Ray, Ryan Pepio, would do his best Tyler Glasnow impression and go 6 innings, only giving up 3 hits and striking out 11 in Coors. The Rockies would try to come back in late innings, but would come up short. Rays would take game 3 and the series. Just a great pitching performance by Ryan Pepio. And speaking of great pitching performances, Grayson Rodriguez was facing Jared Jones in Pittsburgh, where they would both go at least 6 innings pitched, each striking out 7 batters and each giving up 2 homers. Ryan O'Hearn and Gunnar Henderson going deep against Jared Jones, O'Neal Cruz and Jared Triolo going deep off of Grayson Rodriguez. Adley Rutschman and Santander would also drive in runs of their own, and Cedric Mullins goes deep to take game 1 in Pittsburgh. The Pirates sent out Bailey Falter for game 2 of the series, and he would not falter at all. He went 6 innings of shutout ball, only giving up 1 hit. However, the Pirates bullpen would falter, and Bednar would blow his 2nd save of the young season. But the Pirates would fight back in the 10th as Edward Olivares draws a bases-loaded walk to tie the game in the 10th. Then O'Neal Cruz would walk it off in the bottom of the 11th. Pirates seem to like walk-offs as they would walk it off again in game 3 from a throwing error by Gunnar Henderson. It's just a great time to be a Pittsburgh Pirates fan right now. They're off to an 8-2 start. Another team wanted to get in on the walk-off action this weekend. Jordan Hicks faced off against Dylan Cease, new acquisitions for the Giants and the Padres. Cease would go 6 innings of 2-run ball, striking out 7. Hicks would go 7 innings of 2-run ball, one of those being unearned, and strike out 5. It was all tied up at 2 until Tyro Estrada hit a walk-off double in the bottom of the 9th to score Matt Chapman all the way from first. The Padres would take their frustration out in game 2 with a grand slam by Jerickson Profar in the top of the first, and then Michael King completely blanked the Giants. He went 7 innings of shutout ball, striking out 4, only walking 1, which has been his big problem. They would go on to take game 2 4-0. Game 3 was another close one. Padres would be up 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th, but Ha-Seong Kim would lose the ball on this attempted tag, and 2 runs would come in to give the Giants a lead. And that's how the Giants would win it. They would take the game and the series. The Mets looked to also take home their first series win against the Reds in Cincinnati. Jose Quintana and Hunter Green would end up being a good pitching duel though. Quintana going 5 2/3 with 4 strikeouts, and Hunter Green going 6 innings of 1-run balls, striking out 6. The Mets would tag the Reds bullpen for a couple runs though, capped off by a Jeff McNeil home run, and the Mets would take game 1 3-2. Game 2 was a much more offensive heavy game despite Luis Severino looking like the Luis Severino we all thought he could be. He only gave up 2 runs in 5 innings, one of them being unearned. Then there was some scoring in bunches. Reds with 2 in the 2nd, Mets with 4 in the 4th and 1 in the 5th. Reds would score 2 in the 6th and then 5 in the 8th with Spencer Steer hitting a 3-run shot. He's been on fire to start the year. Reds would go on to win game 2 9-6. In the rubber match of the series, the Mets would get another strong performance by Sean Manaea as he would go 5 innings of 1-run ball, striking out 6. Lindor would also make sure the Mets would lock up this win as well. He hit his first bomb of the year and went 2 for 5, scoring 2 runs. Mets win the series and need Lindor to build off of this series. The Phillies and the Nationals were also both looking to take home their first series win of the year as well. It would definitely happen for one of them. Game 1 was all Phillies though. Aaron Nola looking like the ace he was, going 5 2/3 innings, striking out 4. He would only give up 2 hits, which were the only 2 hits the Nats would get on this day. Harper also had a big day again, going 3 for 5 with a double. He got off to a slow start, but all of a sudden his OPS is almost 1,000. Game 2 was more the same, except it was Ranger Suarez doing the dicing. He'd give up a couple runs on a Joey Gallo homer, but that's the only thing he would give up. JT Realmuto would go yard off Jake Irvin in the 3rd with runners on, which would be all the offense Philly would need to take game 2 and the series. The Nats going into Sunday just hoping to salvage the series and not get swept. They would do just that with some good offensive performances by Lane Thomas, who would go 2 for 3, scoring 2 runs. Joey Meneses also going 2 for 3, driving in a run. Mackenzie Gore got the win for the Nats. He went 5 2/3, striking out 6. Solid pitching performance from him. And a solid pitching performance is something we were going to expect to come from Spencer Strider Friday night, which is something we would not get. Ketel Marte leading off with a bomb to start the game, and it would not end there. Strider would get tagged for 5 earned runs in 4 innings. We'll talk about Strider again in a little bit. The Braves would be trailing the D-backs by 2 in the 9th, but Matt Olson would come through and lace a double in the gap to score Austin Riley from first. Then new Brave Jared Kelenic would then double with this perfectly placed pop-up to tie the game and send it to extras, where Travis d'Arnaud would walk it off in the 10th with this extremely long single off the wall. Hell of a finish to game 1 for the Braves. However, it wasn't until after the game that it would be revealed that Strider's elbow was giving him discomfort. He would get an MRI the following morning, where the MRI would show that he had UCL damage. They are going to get it reevaluated in Texas at a later time, but this is really concerning. He is not the only one to go down with a UCL injury the past week. Yuri Perez is getting Tommy John. Shane Bieber out of nowhere has to get Tommy John. Jonathan Loizago, reliever for the Yankees, is getting Tommy John. It's gotten so bad that the MLB PA sent out an official statement with concerns about how quickly the new rules that affect pitchers have been implemented despite concerns from players and coaches. Personally, I think the pitch clock is a lot less of an issue than pitchers not being able to use anything to grip the ball with. But I didn't pitch past high school, so what the hell do I know? Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm interested to hear. Anyway, off to game 2, where Max Fried was looking to get things going, but Ketel Marte would hit another leadoff bomb, and the D-backs would continue to do damage, putting up 6 in the first inning. They would put up 2 more against Max in the 5th, which was 8 in total that Fried would allow, 1 being unearned. The Braves never quit though. Marcelo Zuna would hit a 3-run shot in the 5th to make it 8-5 D-backs. Matt Olson and Michael Harris both would have RBI singles in the 7th to make it 8-7 D-backs, and then they would cap off the comeback in the 8th with an RBI single from Austin Riley to put them ahead 9-8, giving them the win in game 2 and the series win. Chris Sale would look to get the sweep in game 3, and he did just that. Sale would give up 2 runs in the 4th, but early home runs from Matt Olson and Michael Harris would power the Braves to a game 3 win and the sweep. Speaking of sweeps, the White Sox got swept by the Royals this weekend. Brady Singer looked good for the 2nd straight start. Michael Wacha got his first win as a Royal on Saturday, going 7 innings, striking out 8. MJ Melendez has really come around. He hit homers both Saturday and Sunday. He has an OPS over 1100 to start the year. Hunter Renfroe got his first home run as a Royal off of Garrett Crochet, who might be one of the only bright spots for Chicago this year. He looks incredible. You know who else looks incredible? Logan Gilbert and Freddie Peralta, who faced off Friday, but both of them would falter a little bit. Both starters would go 5 2/3 innings, striking out 7. Gilbert would give up 3 home runs, 1 to Willie Adames, 1 by Oliver Dunn in the 4th, which would be his first career home run, and Christian Yelich would also get his 3rd of the year. Gilbert would give up a total of 4 earned runs, and Freddie Peralta would give up 3. The Mariners bullpen is what hurt them the most though. Andres Munoz would come in to keep the Brewers from walking it off, but he just didn't have it this day. He would walk the bases loaded and then walk in the winning run for the Brew Crew. 4 walks in the 9th for him. The Mariners would clap back in game 2 though, with newcomers Jorge Polanco and former Brewer Luis Urias hitting homers late in the game to secure the win. But game 3 saw the Brewers erupt for 12 runs, featuring a multi-homer game by William Contreras, and the Brewers win the rubber match 12-4 and take the series. The Red Sox-Angels series would follow a similar pattern overall. High-scoring first game with a lot of homers. Tyler O'Neill, Reese McGuire, and Tristan Casas all hit bombs in the second inning. Logan O'Hoppe would hit a game-tying grand slam in the 6th for the Angels to tie the game and give Angels fans false hopes that Jarren Duran and Tyler O'Neill both wouldn't hit more bombs late in the game to put it out of reach for the Angels. But Anthony Rendon got his first base hit of the year, which is a win for everyone, I guess. Reed Detmers was so inspired by the base hit by Rendon that he decided to strike out 12 over 6 innings to lead the Angels to a win in game 2. Anthony Rendon got another base hit, but instead of inspiring the Angels pitching staff, I think he inspired the Red Sox lineup, who hit bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb to take game 3 in the whole series. But Mike Trout did hit his 4th bomb of the year, and we all love a good Trout bomb. Just so glad he's back. The Twins and the Guardians only got one game in this weekend. Game 1 of their series on Thursday was covered in my previous video. Spoiler alert, the Guardians won 4-2. They had a scheduled off day on Friday, and their game Sunday was postponed. Game 2 of the series ended up in another 2-run loss for the Twins. David Fry would hit a 3-run shot to supply the offense for Cleveland, as that was 75% of all the runs scored for both teams combined on this day. Joe Ryan did pitch well besides that one blemish, striking out 7 through 6 without walking anyone. And one of the biggest stories of the year has been the Miami Marlins getting off to their horrendous start going into Saturday 0-8. Steven Matz wanted to make them wait a little bit longer to get that win though. He would go 5 innings to shutout ball, striking out 3. The Cardinals would put up 2 in the 4th and 1 in the 5th to go 3-0, and that was enough on this day to keep the Marlins winless. But enough was enough for those Marlins. On Sunday, Jazz got the action started early with a 3-run bomb in the 1st. Nick Gordon would also hit a 3-run shot of his own in the 1st as well, and this would power the Marlins to their first win of the season. Max Meyer also looking really good on the mound, giving up just 1 run to a solo shot by Nolan Gorman. He went 6 innings, only giving up 3 hits. Nolan Gorman would hit another homer in the 9th, and those 2 bombs were the entirety of the Cards offense Sunday. It's good to see him hitting, and it's good to see the Marlins finally get a dub. It was long enough. It's always good to see the Texans Rangers hitting as well, as we got a 2023 ALCS rematch between them and the Astros. Game 1 was not much of a rematch, as the Rangers just mashed their way to a 10-2 victory, with Adolis Garcia hitting a 3-run shot in the 2nd, and Marcus Semien would hit his first homer of the year. Game 2 started off a little differently, with Houston getting a 1-run lead in the 3rd inning, but it would end the same way as Game 1, with the Rangers mashing their way to a Game 2 win 7-2 and a series win. Houston needed to salvage Game 3 to avoid a sweep, and they sent out Ronel Blanco, who threw a no-hitter in his previous start. It looked like he wanted another no-hitter, but he decided back-to-back no-hitters were boring and stale, so he gave up a single hit in the 6th inning. The Astros would go on to win the game 3-1, with their offense being powered by a 3-run shot by Yordan Alvarez earlier in the game. And that's basically everything that happened this weekend. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. I'll try to get these videos out more frequently. Thanks for watching. Peace.